He's Nate Bauer. I'm Greg Pickel from Blue White Illustrated, and we are live at Beaver Stadium. Well, I guess we're not live. We're live. The video's not live, but Penn State loses 21-17 to Michigan TE. I think my main takeaway is that in a game full of opportunities to make one more play or one more stop to get a win, Penn State not able to do it again today.
Yeah, no, it is small details.
Yeah,
and that's like the thing. And we're going to keep this short because it's freezing out here.
It's
and
cold.
My assumption is that none of you want to hear anything that we're going to have to say here. But no, it's Penn State made winning plays to win the football game.
Yep.
Like, that is going to be completely lost in this conversation.
Right.
And rightfully so. Because they also made losing plays
right.
that right against the Michigan team that also made winning plays down
Yep.
the stretch. You know, when it was 14-6 in the third quarter, it could have been 40-0
right.
in this building, right? Like, it felt as though there was no chance that Penn State was going to have any way to win the game, let alone tie it. And it was an 8-point differential.
Right.
But it felt like this crazy mountain that Penn State couldn't get over. And then
it turns on a dime.
It turns on a dime. Penn State's able to have a touchdown drive, including 3 made fourth downs. 3 made fourth down.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. They converted a couple of fourth downs, including a touchdown
right.
on 4th and 2, right?
Yep.
So the Tyler Warren catch for a touchdown, the Jahan Dotson 2-point conversion, and all of a sudden, you've got a game. You've got a 14-14 game. Oh boy. Things are getting crazy.
None of that even made the clip, which is a shame, but there's trash flying all over the place. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but it's a 14-14 game, and then on top of it, Arnold Ebiketie has this Tamba Hali-like sack fumble. Penn State is gifted perfect field position, and again, small details.
Yep.
Can't do anything with it.
Yep.
You got to settle for a field goal. That field goal, instead of going up 6, now they're up 3.
Right.
And so that just seemed to be kind of the key. The theme through the game was Michigan did more of the little things right than Penn State, and ended up on the winning side of this game.
James Franklin saying afterwards that in 2021 you have to score touchdowns to win. Penn State did not do that enough. All right, so there's a couple of things people want to know about here. I guess let's start in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Penn State facing a 4th and 2. Jahan Dotson injured on a third down play that was broken up. I believe it probably would have been a first down if he was able to hang on to it. The way I understood what James Franklin said, he said that Jahan wouldn't have been able to come back in. My understanding is that is not him saying that he doesn't understand the rules in terms of a timeout bringing him back in. That means that he was not going to be able to come back in for health reasons. That's the way I interpreted that.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But he was asked about going for it.
But that totally
punting.
changes the complexion of how that play is viewed. It's hard to really, I mean, you can argue with the play call, but the sequence of not calling a timeout to bring Jahan back into the game is tougher to deal with if Jahan is not available.
Right. And so, obviously, never had a chance past the Cam Sullivan-Brown is incomplete. They felt like they had to go for it there. I don't necessarily disagree with that because Michigan was running the ball well enough that you could have flipped fields.
Yep.
But you needed to, again, you need to make a winning play. And on that particular one, they didn't.
Yep. No, and one of the things that's always kind of fascinating to me is a fixation that always emerges on when your back is up against the wall and there's one card left in the deck and you don't hit, right? Like everything is going against you. And specifically, I'm very specifically thinking of 2018 Ohio State.
Right.
Right? Like that to me was the thing that, and yes, like it makes sense. You, as a fan, you get frustrated about it, but there were so many other instances here in this game. Once you're up 17-14, you don't have to give up a 44-yard touchdown.
Right. And it was it was a pick play, and it was a legal one, and Kalen King got turned around, and you see Erick All, the tight end, who, leading up to this game, no one was really sure if he was going to play. I mean, he was hurt in Michigan's win over Indiana last week. You let a tight end go 44 yards for a score, hey, you're probably going to lose most games when you do that at any point, let alone that late.
Yep. You don't have to go for a fake field goal when...
Well, yeah, so that's the next conversation, right? Yes.
Right. Like, I mean, just choices that are made, execution that happens. I don't think that anyone can argue with the notion, and James Franklin said it. He said they came into this game, it was the exact same thing that he said about the Ohio State game. They came into it with the intention of being aggressive. That is how they wanted to coach this game, the decisions that they made. And I don't think you can necessarily fault them for it. When you're playing the number 6 team in the country, that's what you have to do to get a win.
Right.
So that's not the issue. The thing that I think is going to stand out to me, you, and a lot of other people is who is more likely to throw an on-target pass on 4th and goal from the 2-yard line.
Right.
Your holder, right? The kick holder.
I mean, when did he? Maybe I'll spend some time afterwards digging when he last threw a pass. It's been a while, I'm sure.
Point being, though, is right. Like that's something where the trickery for the fake punt, and I don't want to go too far off topic, but I get it. It's always the plays that don't work out that you debate versus the plays that do work out. I don't think that anybody has a problem with a fake punt.
Right.
Obviously, it was successful, but the fake field goal just very specifically seemed like a play where if you have, at worst, you fail.
Right.
Because your quarterback throws an incompletion.
Right.
Or you get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Instead, that becomes a play where you lose 30 yards. Right? Like you complete the pass, but then you fumble, and now the ball is, instead of Michigan have the ball at their own 2-yard line, they have the ball at the 30.
So, so he says that they would do it again, so that's fine, whatever. But, he mentions that they haven't been very good on offense and getting yards in short yardage situation.
Yep.
Okay, fair. So take that the other way. So you're admitting that, man, we have a hard time scoring. So why wouldn't you take the 3 points when they're there for you if you know that scoring's a problem? I think
because you need touchdowns.
Right, yes.
Greg.
And then, in that case, then put your quarterback out there or put Tyler Warren out there or do something. And again, if it works, we're talking about in a different setting, or in a different way. I get that. But some things you just can't really understand, and that's one of them for me. But it's cold. So let's get the final thoughts. Go ahead.
No, it's just... I think that they are caught in this purgatory of everyone when things don't work. When things don't work and you're trying to do the same thing that you think is the best thing that you do over and over and over again, people say, well, you'd have to be an idiot to keep trying something that doesn't work. Okay, well then you try something different. And
people still call you an idiot, right?
People are still going to call you an idiot, which is what we're doing right now. And I just think that the bottom line for this Penn State team is it has been a slog all season.
Yep.
They're not good enough to kill people, to blow anybody out.
Yep.
And so as a result, you got to be really good in the details. You got to be really good when it counts. And Penn State at Wisconsin was.
Yeah.
Penn State against Auburn was. It hasn't happened since then.
Right.
And we can talk about the Iowa game, we can talk about the Illinois game, but once this team got back to a place where it could be competitive with some of the best teams that it was facing, it is competitive at Ohio State. It is competitive against Michigan. But you got to be better.
Right.
Right?
That's all there is to it.
Those 4 plays, those 5 plays have to be different than what they were tonight.
He's Nate Bauer. I'm Greg Pickel. Penn State loses to Michigan 21-17 at Beaver Stadium. Read complete coverage at BlueWhiteIllustrated.com. Don't forget you can join us and On3 for just $1 for an entire year of access. And Nate, we're going to go right. See everybody later.